Hey there, Dr. Steve here. Before we begin, I want to invite you to a very special gathering of patriots all across the country. It's our first ever rhino hunting boot camp. It'll be on Saturday, March 5th, and it's a virtual event so you can attend from the comfort of your very own home. What we're going to do is we're going to come together and learn everything you need to know about getting rid of Republicans in name only, getting them out of office and putting real patriots in. So click on the link below or go to rhinohuntingbootcamp.com. Spots are limited to the first 1,000 who register, so they're going fast. Make sure to click on that link below right now, and I'll see you on Saturday, March 5th for an absolutely amazing day. God bless. The Durham investigation appears poised to end the FBI and Hillary Clinton for good. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest fallout from the bombshell spying revelations. We're going to see the calls growing to reform or even eliminate the FBI. And stick with me to the very end of this video when we'll see a brand new Trump ad that promises justice is coming for Hillary. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote, your Patriot professor. Help me to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. If you haven't done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We're just going to dive right into things here. As I'm sure you all know by now, Special Counsel John Durham's bombshell revelations about Hillary Clinton spying on President Trump's campaign and then later in his White House have rocked the political establishment, despite the fact that the mainstream media, who remember, peddled the Russian collusion hoax that Hillary propagated, that same media is quite literally doing everything they possibly can to bury this scandal. In fact, they appear to be burying it right next to Hunter Biden's laptop. And yet, despite that, the story won't go away. In fact, it seems to be getting bigger by the day. The latest victim of the bombshell revelation appears increasingly to be the FBI. Listen to what Ohio Congressman Mike Turner, a top-ranking Republican, had to say about the FBI on Fox News.
Is basically Special Counsel Durham sending a memo to Michael Sussman saying he's not being well served by his lawyers. The pleading sets out allegations, evidence that they intend to admit into court that relate to third parties, people besides Michael Sussman himself, of which, though he would be caught up. The pleading basically says you're not being well served by your lawyers, you should be cooperating, and your lawyers have the interest of others, third parties that don't affect you. We're going to be going after them also, and that's where we get these explosive allegations of the spying against the Trump administration, this Trump campaign, number of criminal activities that are alleged. Certainly, I think Michael Sussman needs to read this again and pay very close attention to what Durham is saying about his own counsel, and certainly look to his best interest, which probably is to cooperate.
Congressman Andy McCarthy over at National Review, he's a former prosecutor, has written that this could turn out to be the same as the Mueller investigation, where there's a lot of smoke, but there's no actual fire, where you get people indicted and arrested. And the possibility exists that the real scandal here isn't all the stuff that's legal, but goes right up to the line of being illegal. Do you see that as a possibility in the Durham investigation?
Well, we'll have to see. We don't know what evidence that he has or what he's going to actually introduce into court. This pleading is about what he intends to introduce. But there are really four explosive allegations here, right? There's the Clinton administration, this Clinton campaign spying on the Trump campaign. Then there's the Clinton campaign perhaps continuing that spying into the Trump administration itself. And the other two are the attempts by the Clinton campaign and others to co-opt government, the Department of Justice, the FBI. And then the fourth is those actions that actually happened, those things that we know where the FBI lied basically to the FISA court and where there were investigations that were undertaken into Trump himself and the Trump campaign, all of which that were bogus and based upon opposition research from the Clinton campaign that proved false.
What do you think the amount of attention this is getting?
Well, I think it's appropriate. I mean, this is not only just scandalous, this should never happen again. And I definitely agree with Devin Nunes. There's a number of areas where we need to change the laws, one of which is never allow the FBI to enter into a FISA court again, opposition research that they've gotten from a political campaign.
But if you weren't watching our network, where would you hear about this story? Again,
and that's just absolutely outrageous.
What kind of attention is it getting?
Right, and that's the other aspect I think that's really important. It shows that this really was part of the Clinton campaign, part of the Democratic Party campaign to smear Donald Trump and certainly thwarted the first years of his presidency. And that's why, of course, they're not reporting on it, because they were complicit from the beginning. They were reporting things that were not true with no evidence, certainly diminishing the ability of the Trump administration to do its work.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. You look back now and you wonder, why did you recuse yourself to Jeff Sessions, right? I mean, if that doesn't happen, maybe Mueller's never around. I mean,
well, there's certainly a number of people who need to be held accountable in both the FBI and the Department of Justice who knew what they were doing and were complicit in this hoax and in thwarting the Trump administration as the president was being sworn in.
Mike Turner, thank you, sir. We will bring you back and talk very soon.
So the key there is that now we got a top-ranking Republican openly saying that they're going to have to begin the process of reforming the FBI. They're going to have to be new laws passed restraining the FBI and what it can and cannot do. And as I'm sure you know, Durham recently indicted a Clinton operative by the name of Michael Sussman. Sussman is one of Clinton's attorneys who helped to arrange the financial transaction between the Clinton campaign and the Christopher Steele dossier, right? But according to these latest revelations, he was also involved in hiring a tech executive who was at the time helping the government combat cyber threats. So he had privileged access to internet data. And so Sussman paid this tech exec to exploit his privileged access to internet data to mine contacts between Russian facilities connected to Donald Trump so that the Clinton campaign could peddle this notion that Trump was conspiring with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And so what happened is that in the course of this spying, which is what any reasonable person would call it, in the course of this spying on the Trump campaign and then on his servers when he was in the White House, Sussman would then take the information he was given through surveillance, which was deliberately altered to make Trump look guilty. He would take that information along with the fraudulent dossier that was bought and paid for by the Clinton campaign, and he would run it all over to the FBI, trying to get the FBI to surveil Trump. And keep in mind, this is all going on as Hillary and her surrogates like Jake Sullivan, who's currently the national security advisor to bumbling Biden. This is all happening as Hillary and her team were feeding deliberately misleading reports about Trump and Russia to an all-too-willing mainstream media, who turned around and reported them gleefully as if they were fact. And so in the midst of all this, the fraudulent dossier, which much of the mainstream media still has yet to admit was a total fraud, a piece of lying crap, but regardless, that fraudulent dossier that was put together by Christopher Steele was used by the FBI as the sole piece of so-called evidence to obtain FISA warrants. FISA standing for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, to spy on Trump's campaign and even during the first days of his presidency. So now we're getting reports that the Durham Probe may indeed lead to the end of the FBI as we know it. No less than the Wall Street Journal, citing the Durham Probe, is calling for the full abolition of the FBI. I mean, this is serious stuff. And now we got members of Congress ready to pass restricting laws on the FBI that may indeed force it to completely revamp itself. Now, on the other side of this fiasco, we've, of course, got Hillary Clinton. As for this absurd clown, we reported the other day that the fallout from Durham's court filing last week appears to have torpedoed any chance Hillary has at reviving her political career. According to the latest TIPP poll, a clear majority of Democrats, 66% want Clinton investigated for a role in the whole Russian collusion hoax and her campaign's ongoing spying of Donald Trump. And even more than that, President Trump's Save America PAC has an amazing new video out that promises that justice is coming for Hillary. Take a look.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is. It's all over the place.
A new report from special counsel John Durham. Clinton campaign lawyers paid a tech company to infiltrate Trump servers to fabricate a connection between Trump and Russia.
Hillary Clinton broke the law to frame Trump as a Russian traitor. This is truly unprecedented, truly something that has never happened in the history of our great country.
This is a digital insurrection.
Turns out the Trump-Russian collusion story was just a deflection from the Hillary-Russian collusion story.
Trump was right. Trump was telling the truth.
It was you, Hillary Clinton, who undermined our democracy. There are people that should go to jail.
So as you can see, the commercial promises that justice is indeed coming for Hillary. So what does that mean? I think it's pretty clear. When Trump runs again and wins in 2024, he's going to go full animal on all his political enemies like Hillary. He should have a massive Republican majority behind him after the 2022 midterms. If we get rid of RINOs, right, make sure to get your RINO hunting shirts in our merch store to suit up and expel as many RINOs as possible from office for the upcoming midterms. Click on that link below. Go to store.turleytalks.com. That's store.turleytalks.com. Get your awesome Patriot gear. You're going to absolutely love it. But it does look absolutely clear that Trump is ready to pounce on his political enemies like never before. And so you never know. That may involve nothing less than Hillary finally getting locked up. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it. It's on the Trudeau regime collapsing. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.